Mr. Sajjad Hussain, Ms. Shaheen Bilal Khan, Mr. Shoaib Khalid Khokhar, Sayyid Kausar Saklain, Sayyid Shafiq Ahmed, Mr. Tariq Iqbal, Mr. Tahir Nadeem Said, Mr. Tariq Aziz, and now the graduates as November 1995, Adnan Zia Hotiana, Afzal Hamid Khan, Mr. Ahmed Raza, Mr. Asif Ehsan, Mr. Asif Farooq Ishaq, Mr. Asmat Rafiq Chauhan, Mr. Bazad Khan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to replace myself with a brilliant student of MBA final, Mr. Zishan Haider, as a compere. Mr. Zishan Haider.
Thank you very much, Ms. Aruj. So, ladies and gentlemen, now you have to bear my voice because you are enjoying the melodious voice of Ms. Aruj. Thank you very much. I will continue the name. Next one is Farooq Shafiq. Mr. Farooq Shafiq. Now I'd like to thank Mr. Guest. So please have a seat. Thank you very much. I would like to request Mr. Abdul Aziz Qureshi, Chief Controller of Examination, CBA, College of Business Administration. Imran Ahmed, Javed Mumtaz, Kamran Hamid, Mr. Khalid Javed, Khalilur Rahman, Mr. Khwaja Shehzad Nabi, Ms. Sadiqa Bushra, Miss Asia Humayun, Mr. Muhammad Arif Nadeem. Mr. Muhammad Atif Naseem. Mr. Muhammad Naveed Awan. Mr. Muhammad Tahir. Mr. Sayyid Shoaibul Hassan. Mr. Sayyid Zishan Akhtar Shah. Mr. Tariq Nadeem. And finally, Mr. Zahid Iqbal. And now, I would like to call the names of graduates of February 1996. Begins with Abdul Manan Babar. Mr. Ahmed Farrokh. Mr. Amir Nadeem. Mr. Akil Ahmed. Miss Farhat Naz. Mr. Fawad Ahmed Khan. Mr. Hamad Mahmood. Mr. Hamid Farhan Bhutta. Mr. Imran Maqsood. Mr. Inamul Haq. Mr. Kashif Shehzad. Mr. Khalid Amin Beg. Mr. Khalid Mahmood. Mr. Khwaja Farooq Khichlau. And Mr. Laik Shehzad. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Aziz Qureshi, and please have a seat. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request Mr. Director Aftab Ahmed, representative of President Lahore Stock Exchange. So please raise your hand together. Mr. Mahfouz Ahmed, Mr. Muhammad Ehsan Saeed, Mr. Muhammad Amir, Mr. Muhammad Atiq, Mr. Muhammad Farooq Shaukat, Mr. Muhammad Hussain, Mr. Muhammad Ihtishamul Haq, Mr. Muhammad Nadeem Rahmat, Ladies and gentlemen, please join your hand together when the candidate come here, please. Muhammad Shehzad Khan, Muhammad Sher Umar Khan, Muhammad Yunus, Muhammad Zubair, Mr. Raja Muhammad Ashraf, Mr. Rizwan Sabir Saleri, Mr. Saifuddin, Mr. Saifullah Sheikh, after that Mr. Shakib Hassan, Mr. Sayyid Kamran Bashir, Mr. Sayyid Naveed Hussain, Mr. Zahid Suhail, and now the graduates of June 1996 session. First of all, Mr. Abbas Ali, Mr. Ahmed Waqas, Mr. Akram Shehzad, Mr. Amir Majid,